Welcome into the CHGO White Sox podcast, coming to you live from Studio B of our CHGO offices here in the West Loop of Chicago. I'm your host, Sean Anderson. Alongside me is Vinnie Duber, our CHGO White Sox beat writer. You can follow him at Vinnie Duber. The man in the middle is Herb Lawrence.
Hello.
You can follow him at Ecknerwall23. He's our CHGO White Sox community leader. You can follow the show at CHGO_White Sox. And I'm not sure if I told you, I'm at Sean_W_Anderson. We're being produced today by Sarah.
Hi.
Hello. Sarah's got a cool jacket on, and it's cold, which I know, Vinny, you're very happy about.
Thank you.
Yes, you know my love of winter. I would like to beg everyone's pardon if we're like moving and acting weird and looking weird. This is our first trip to the new look Studio B, so we have no idea what to do with our hands.
Oh yeah,
or anything like that.
Herb and I did the Ricky Bobby, thing the first time we were in here.
Yeah.
It's not. We're getting used to it here.
I'm going with a lean for now, but you might see
don't
that
look
change.
comfortable.
Huh?
You don't look comfortable.
Well, the alternative is just to kind of float, like I'm sitting on a stool.
And I don't have good posture. I don't know about you gentlemen.
I do not.
Yeah,
so
this
really forces me to be a proper human. Which
I feel like Larry King though when I'm doing this.
Cleveland, hello.
We got a super chat starting us off, and if you are watching, hit the thumbs up button. Make sure you're subscribing. Our GM Jake Flanagan let us know that we had another of our best months ever. Right? It was
our best month ever.
Best month ever again, with the most engagements. I think we're closing in on 2 million monthly engagements. So tell your friends, tell your family. Let's
keep engaging with us.
Keep engaging with us. Keep hitting that like button. Keep subscribing. Keep hitting that comment button like Connor Smith did. It's a $2 super chat from our friend saying Baines 121 OPS plus over Fisk's 117 OPS plus. What is this saying? You know, Connor. Can you try to decipher this?
He's informing everyone that Harold Baines' career OPS plus is higher than that of Carlton Fisk, Paul Konerko, and Cal Ripken Jr.
Okay. Two of those three are Hall of Famers.
Exactly.
Well, two of those three that Baines has beaten is a Hall of Famers.
Isn't?
Yeah, that's the only one that's not.
Okay. I guess I was just confused by PK. I mean, Carlton Fisk was a catcher, though.
Again, I think that's presented without argument. It's just to show you that those are the stats.
He's writing a fact, and however you react to it is how you react to it.
Okay,
and Sean instantly started arguing.
Well, yeah, because
perfect.
That's just kind of my nature. God bless you, Connor. I love you. But I mean, one was a designated hitter, and he's only 4 points better than two guys in the Hall of Fame that played defensively harder and more important positions.
I don't know why you're trashing Harold Baines for being good.
Because I don't know. Was he good?
Oh my God! Here we go. This is a different show.
You looked at a positive stat of someone, and your instant reaction was, good for him being better than someone who's in the Hall of Fame. He is in the Hall of Fame, and that number is better than those numbers.
What, Andrew Benintendi, did you make lifelong memories in 2021 when you went to the All-Star game? Dork.
Now I feel like he's coming after me, Herb.
No, what? Why am I coming after you?
Because I just remind you that Andrew Benintendi was in the All-Star game.
Yeah, no, but I thought I thought you were making a good point that Connor was just pointing out something positive.
He was.
And I was a dick.
Yeah, you were.
So then I was trying to just be more of a jerk.
Connor's
like what I said
he's
before.
Sitting back at home. Yes, look what I've created. Yes.
He is
just
right,
stir in the pot.
Cal Ripken was awful. I did hear that. Oh!
Look at that. Party foul.
All right. So that's the second spillage we've had.
Good Lord, Herb.
Chuck. We know you can't.
Move this.
Oh, God. All right. We got a little spillage of the tropical beer hug.
I'll be back.
You don't need to leave.
Sarah's
Sarah
running.
ran.
This
you
is
just
good.
Need to fight.
We're just okay
corralling
corralling this beer.
See what you started, Connor.
Studio B, folks. The new look Studio B.
I'll let you know about the show today.
Tune in all the time.
We're going to talk a little bit about ratings and tuning in.
Thank you, Sarah.
We're going to talk about the World Series ratings.
Hands? No, Sarah.
I didn't.
Thank you, Sarah.
Can I tell you something?
I think
the
we're
people-
gonna need
Sean,
a
what
little
I
bit
come
more.
back and you're like trying to
There's a whole
soak
roll
it up
right
with
here,
your
Sean.
hands.
Oh, I didn't see that. Because it's about to spill all over my legs.
I'll tell you this: the folks at Goose Island make a
beer
great.
by my laptop.
The folks at Goose Island make a great smelling beer.
It does. It smells like pineapple.
We're having a honking good time here in Studio B today.
Two things from Connor. My bad, guys. I'm way away from the thing. I haven't even drank any yet.
Yeah, well.
Wow.
Yeah.
Just a full one.
I mean,
Yeah, exactly. You take over the hosting.
Okay.
And I'll do this.
Hey, this is good television. It's horrible radio. All right, so we're going to be talking about World Series ratings today. We're going to be also bringing up.
It's behind me.
Behind you. Your elbow's going to hit it if it's behind you.
Just chug it. Just get rid of it.
No, I'm never giving her any juice.
No, I meant chug it. Get rid of the liquid.
You want that show?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it'll be lively.
Yes,
you're drinking a beer anyways.
I mean, this has been one of the livelier shows so far.
Did you see that Carm dumped a ton of water on Hogue?
Today?
Yeah.
Literally?
Yeah. So I mean, this is the day of spills.
Ooh.
I don't know. I kind of lost it. I haven't gotten through the full show. It was like an hour and 30 minutes.
The Bear show.
Yeah. So I'm like 45 minutes in, and apparently he hasn't gotten spilled with water. But Adam Hogue showed me his wet butt today, so it was cool.
There's an audio drop.
In Wet Butt 23, the guy who broke the news a couple years
ago.
ago.
And Katy Perry his booty hole.
The Quintana traded, right?
Yeah. Legend. Okay, so let's get into ratings for the World Series. Then we're going to talk about the 2024 and 2025 class and say, the Rangers got here with Seager and Semien. Are there the White Sox versions of Seager and Semien in the upcoming free agent classes to make them competitive in 2025? And then we'll wrap up with Herb's new bit for November.
Yeah.
And you did it after. I mean, I'm surprised you're not clean shaven today, or at least shaven enough for your bit.
Oh, just grow it back. Yeah, it takes a long time.
I feel remiss shaving my face because I had a mustache, and here we are. But anyways, let's jump into the ratings. The 2023 World Series, and this is from Front Office Sports, is on pace to be the least watched ever. And they also have this graph. Since 2016, the ratings have gone from 22.8 million, 18.9 million, 14.1 million, 13.9 million. The COVID season, 9.8 million. In 2021, 11.7 million. 2022, 11.7 million. And then this year, 8.5 million. Guys, what do you think about baseball and its ratings problem for the World Series?
Well, I mean, listen, I think we've brought this up before, and I think my takeaway always when we talk about, oh my goodness, baseball isn't as popular as it used to be kind of thing is that, well, it's okay. It's still popular, right? I mean, I don't think anybody's at the MLB league offices is looking at this and well, guys, that's it. We're going to pack it in. No more baseball. I mean, just because football and basketball have overtaken it in terms of nationwide popularity doesn't mean that this isn't still a very popular and very profitable enterprise, right? And so it's not like we're sitting here talking about, or trying to get people excited about the Pro Ping Pong League or anything like that. This is still a gigantic sport in the United States of America. But hey, those are two franchises playing this year that don't generate a lot of national interest. You see a lot of people around, very excited to see what's up with the Texas Rangers, the Arizona Diamondbacks. That's just kind of the way of things. I think that there's only a handful of teams in the league that you could say would fit into that category, and there have been recent World Series that you read the numbers of in which those teams were featured, right? I mean, you went all the way back to 2016 when the Cubs were playing. That's a big national team, right? Whenever the Yankees or the Red Sox are involved, whenever, obviously the COVID season's a little different case, but if the Dodgers were playing, the Astros have been villains across baseball, so there's a tune-in desire there. The Braves, everybody in the South is a Braves fan. The Phillies, it's not surprising given the matchup this year that those are the numbers are what they are. That being said, though, I think, baseball fans care about baseball. They're interested to know what happens. It just doesn't mean that you're grabbing some random person off the street and getting them to watch the World Series if they haven't really paid any attention to the sport leading up to that. So I think we always talk about it being a more regional game, that kind of thing. I don't think there's really anything wrong with that as long as baseball fans are still getting access to their sport, which of course they are.
Yeah, and I think that it's a good point, Vinny, but I think MLB wants to expand where they're at right now, where a couple of years ago, I think in 2017, they did a survey where 57 was the average age of MLB World Series viewers. And while the other leagues are in their 40s, MLB's people are aging out, because when I was in radio, the key demographic was men 25 to 54. And if you're out of that demo or under that demo, we didn't really care about you in radio. And so that's what MLB has to do. They have to worry about, okay, yes, it's good that our people are 57. That means they have more established, they have more money to spend on the advertisers, but also they're aging out of what we were looking for. Now, how do we capture the younger viewers? That's, I think, most of the things that have been wrong with MLB. But yeah, you've seen in the last couple of years, they've been trying to get younger viewers to stay in with the pitch clock thing, which I think even older people were like initially like, you're messing baseball up. Baseball doesn't have a clock. Now we saw what the product was this year. We're like, much better, perfect. And person that probably doesn't watch baseball because it's 3 hours long on average this year, it's 2:30, a little bit more. And then they're doing other things to help get the young viewer in. But baseball can't worry about the low attendance, as you said. They can't do anything about a Texas market that's never won a World Series and an Arizona market that's won a World Series and doesn't really capture the fans of baseball as a whole. And so Philadelphia would have been a better thing. So would Houston. The rematch from last year would have been definitely better, but I don't think they say, hell, okay, Texas and Arizona are poison for us. We can't have this again. They just go let the things fly where they are, and baseball's a sport that's a niche sport. It's very hard to get in when you're older. Like the other sports, football, you can get in when even if you didn't play football, you can get in when you're like past 18. Baseball, you either have to watch and or play as a kid, I think, to actually appreciate it as an adult, because it's so many nuance, so many little things that we talk about now about how baseball is played, that if you're just a guy or girl joining it when you're 20, 21, it's like, this is boring and very, very difficult to follow.
I mean, baseball is the most rudimentary sport out of them all.
Is it?
Yeah, it's the earliest one, right? I mean, basketball wasn't invented until the peach basket and Naismith and the gridiron and John Heisman.
Well, but just because something's old doesn't mean that it's simple, right? And I think what Herb's getting at is, if you were to show somebody who's never watched a basketball game, they're going to go, oh, they got to get it in the hoop. Okay, understood. Yeah. You know what I mean? And I think, and I'm not, that's not for me to sit here and say that you need an advanced degree to understand what's going on in baseball, but I get what Herb's saying. That being said, I think that's part of the fun. I think every person is individually their own way. I think in general you're seeing younger people not watching live TV very much, right? Yes. They're watching things the next day on YouTube or on social media. Things are changing for everybody, and I think what you got to look at in terms of baseball is not necessarily the TV ratings. Look at the money they're still making. Yes. And while this league is still making over $10 billion a year, baseball's just fine, folks. I think it's going to be okay.
It's fine now, but I worry about the future.
No, I
new
think
people coming in and generating that wealth for them that they have right now.
Well, you look at 2021 and 2022, the ratings stayed the same with similar markets. I mean, Philadelphia and Atlanta are rival sports markets, at least especially in the NL East. Yeah. So it makes sense that it was 11.7 both years. Houston was still the matchup. You look at that state, I mean, there's two American League teams, and Houston's a bigger city than Arlington. So, of course, more people are going to be drawn to Houston because, Texas is a massive state. And,
Dallas.
Yeah.
It's the whole Metroplex here, Sean. Okay, come on.
Whatever. Yeah. But
also, that's fourth and fifth largest cities in the United States.
Gigantic.
Yeah, but Houston, I mean, should be a better audience.
Especially they're in the same division, you have to choose. It's not even like you could be a casual fan, I think, of a Chicago sports fan, where if the Cubs are in or the White Sox are in, you're watching no matter what because a Chicago team's in the World Series. I don't know. I think that regional sports markets are up 7% this year after the rule changes. So I think the rule changes were huge. I think that this is probably going to be the only time it's under 10 million. And two, the question begs, if it's Game 7 and this has been a great series, Austin says takeaway last night and games have been pretty good. If this is a Game 7, would you not be surprised to see the tweet most watched Game 7 in history?
I would be because I think the Cubs Cleveland is one. Because the Cubs are a thing. That's why it started off with the Cubs-Cleveland one. No one's driving it because of Cleveland. They drove it because the Cubs hadn't won a World Series in 108 years, and that's why people watched, and they're good.
Oh, sure. I mean, the Cubs were the story of that year, but also Cleveland, that's an established fan base. That's a big established fan base.
Is.
I mean, we're talking about Arizona. That team hasn't even been around 20 years yet. Or 30 years. It hasn't been around 30 years, excuse me. I'm showing my age there.
Hey,
but
man,
yeah.
I know, man. It just goes by so damn
It
fast.
does. It does.
Remember when they were actually born.
My point being is that people who are my age right now, right, have only grown up with the Diamondbacks for not even their entire life, and so try explaining that to people older than me right now, right? I mean, the baseball fans that lived out in Arizona, they got a team already, kind of thing. What we talk about with the Florida teams all the time and stuff like that. So, I think that the matchup this year is probably the thing to blame. That's no insult to those two teams. They've had great seasons, but, you're going to tell me that you're going to go to a random baseball fan who lives in Seattle or a random baseball fan who lives in Baltimore, and they're going to be able to name you a ton of players on the Arizona Diamondbacks?
Well, let's ask younger, casual sports fan Sarah. Sarah, have you watched any of the World Series this year?
I have not. I'm so serious. I don't even think I've watched like 60 seconds of it.
Okay. Do you have any interest in the World Series unless are you a Cubs fan or Sox fan?
Cubs.
Okay. If the Cubs are in the World Series, you're watching it.
Absolutely. But that's how I feel about baseball, though, in general. Baseball is more of like, if my team's not in it, then I'm not really interested. When it's other sports like football or basketball, I have a lot more interest in just kind of watching the overall.
And think about it, too. The football is one game if you're just going for the Super Bowl. Right.
Yeah.
The NBA Finals, no one's like really – I don't know if Sarah's watching the NBA Finals necessarily because that's a 7-game series itself. And with the matchups, it's like, what are we doing here? Like, as a younger person, do you watch the NBA Finals?
I'm more into March Madness when it comes to that kind of stuff. But
you went to Kansas. You went to a school that's actually
Rock Chalk.
Good.
But I would say for the NBA Finals, I mean, I'll probably catch the last couple of games at least. Just because it's the NBA Finals.
And baseball and what other leagues have over baseball, it's not as international as all the rest of them are. Baseball's internationalism is pretty much all North America, a little Central America, and you get occasional Japanese and then some people from Europe. Basketball's global.
Well, in soccer,
it's everywhere. Soccer's everywhere. Football's trying to expand. They're playing a game in Germany this week. They played a couple games in London. I mean, football's and they're now putting flag football in the Olympics. So it's more of a spectacle. It's more of a thing where you can watch a football game and I kind of get it, and I get the brutality also that goes along with the enjoyment of the game and action going on all the time. Baseball's slow. To me, it's very entertaining. To a person that's just enjoying it. It's like, man, what the hell is this?
I love going to the baseball games, though. Those are fun. But if I'm just watching it on TV, I get bored really easily.
Oh, you're good.
No, I have nothing else to say.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought I didn't mean to cut you off. I just thought you were done. My bad. I jumped in too early. Alex asking why I'm hugging a laptop like a Mr. Robot. It's because I'm trying to shield it from Herb, who's close to me. Just because I have a trivia question to ask, and that's why I rudely cut off Sarah. My B. The most viewed Game 7 in World Series history was.
Oh, well, it was back before anybody watched any other sports, probably. Yeah. It's probably the 60s or something like that.
I mean, Herb brought up, he thought 2016 Cubs.
I mean, that's recent and it still has the same things that go on with the youth today, but it was still...
Oh, I have a guess.
You go ahead.
Yankees D-backs.
I'm going with 91's Twins Braves.
No and no. Okay. It is later.
Later than that? Wow.
More recently.
More recently.
All right.
I think you'll.
Is it Cubs? Is it Cubs Cleveland?
No.
Okay.
Oh no. Sorry. It's later than that. It's earlier than 1991.
Okay, earlier than 1991.
So the opposite of what you said.
I don't.
That's fine.
I'm out to lunch.
I do not recall a one. I'm gonna just say 1978's World Series.
No. The most viewed game was 1986, Mets and Red Sox. Estimated viewership of 55 to 60 million.
But of course, think about there's really barely any cable at that time. The Mets are the Mets of 85, and the Boston Red Sox hadn't won a World Series since 1918. So it was appointment television. Even 7-year-old Herb was watching that.
You put the Yankees and Phillies in the World Series again, and that doesn't do like a 15. I think it does.
I don't know, 15 million people or 15.
Like 15 for each game. I don't know. I think it's with the rules that have been implemented. I think if you get the right markets, you'll get the exciting numbers.
I mean, those two teams' fan bases add up probably to about that amount, right? I mean, maybe that's shooting a little high, but I don't know. I would assume that there aren't 15 million Rangers and Diamondbacks fans in America.
We should try to find them, round them up.
Do you think you get a higher audience for that Yankees Phillies you're just talking about, or for Cubs Sox? White Sox.
A higher national audience?
Yes.
Yankees Phillies.
Okay. Yeah. Those are Yankees are Yankees.
And the Cubs are the Cubs.
They are.
But I don't
White
think
Sox
the White Sox have the national fan base. Yeah.
They don't.
Those three teams all do. Even the Phillies to an extent.
Yeah, I don't know. I think Chicago would probably make national news every single night, though.
Oh yeah,
that's for sure. Because I don't think it would be.
I
don't think it would be friendly.
Let that go 7 games.
I know what happens in Section 161.
But I will say this, Herb, about to your point of, folks and how they look at baseball. I think everybody looks at these sports a different way, right? And I think that's probably has something to do with it, is the fact that you have so much to watch, so much to do. You can pick absolutely anything you want. I mean, from me as a sports fan, I don't ever watch the NBA Finals. Yeah. I don't ever watch the hockey playoffs unless the Hawks are in it. I don't care about any football if the Bears aren't playing in the playoffs. Like, I think
you watch the Super Bowl.
Yeah, because it's the
Just
Super Bowl.
on.
But yeah,
just check.
because everybody else
usually
is
go to
watching
like
the
a
Super
party
Bowl normally,
something like
that. But I mean, I guess my point is that like everybody has their individual things that appeal to them and don't. And in today's world, as opposed to back when the Mets were playing the Red Sox in the '86 series, right? Everybody can choose to watch their own individual thing, right? You're not a baseball fan. You're not limited to the 3 channels that are on TV.
No,
you can watch absolutely anything that's ever been broadcast. You know what I mean? Like, and the same goes for all other sports. So that would be my thought on that too.
Have you ever had that, Sean? Just with the regular TV with 2, 5, 7, 9, and 32, without cable?
Yeah,
antenna TV.
Yeah. My grandparents used to have that.
Oh, okay.
So but that was. The worst was when I would have to only watch 2, 5, 7, and 9. I wanted to go watch ESPN Classic and watch Stump the Schwab with,
Stump the Schwab.
Yeah.
Wow.
With Schwab and
Throwback.
Stuart Scott.
Yeah, 86, yeah. Like, that was what it was. You had the regular channels. Very few people, at least in my neighborhood, had cable. Cable was expensive back in the day. And so you're like, nah, I ain't going to do that. I'm just going to watch this regular-ass TV. And that's why, MASH is the most watched finale of all time. That will never be broken because people are busy. They got other things to do. There's a TV right here in this phone. So why am I going to be watching some series I never watched before? Back in the day, that's what everybody watched together. And then, man, if Twitter was around back then with like 80 million people just watching one event, just tweeting all the time about it.
That's why I think that you would probably get the Game 7s are going to be the ones that break those records because it could be a pretty disappointing series. But if it goes to Game 7, like that's something that you don't want to like not get spoilers for, right? Like that's something that is appointment television because if you are behind, someone's probably going to be talking about, the Game 7 that just happened. So like that is the one thing that like the MASH finale, unless you're taping it, I don't even know if you could have taped the MASH finale. Like you had to be there. Live. That's the only really thing that live TV's useful for.
I don't even know if we had VCRs. I don't think you could record at that time in early 80s. I don't think so.
God bless you guys. I don't know how you guys grew up and did it. Remember when you spilled all that beer?
It was great.
No, I don't know if it was great. I didn't enjoy any of it. All right, let's take a quick break, and we'll let you know about some of our fantastic sponsors. Herb's going to let you know about Hero Bread after I let you know about Empire Today. You have been seeing their commercials forever in the Chicagoland area. Who's our guy?
Lynn Holdren.
Lynn Holdren, Sky Point to Lynn. He is the friendly, animated guy you used to see on the Empire Today commercials.
And he was real, too. He was alive, too.
He used to be in a barbershop quartet.
Yeah, they animate him now because he's not with us. Kind of like a KFC guy.
Didn't know that.
Sanders.
All right. But with Empire Today, you'll get shop-at-home convenience, the right product for your needs, and quick and professional installation and a low price. Empire Today is the best place to get new flooring. So, of course, they have copycats, but those copycats can't beat Empire on quality, service, speed. So the copycats advertise low-quality products that they simply won't carry. Empire won't promise the lowest prices because anyone who does is putting flooring in your home that they wouldn't put in theirs.
Unbelievable, Sean.
It's ridiculous, right? They're copying their fantastic
those
business.
Copycats.
Yeah, they've been in business for, forever. I mean, Empire is it's an empire.
Yeah. It's
an empire of flooring.
giving these people the blueprint, and they're not even following it right.
Right, exactly. They're skipping all the steps, and you don't want to skip steps.
Go to the original architect
with your flooring. Oh, we're getting too witty here, guys. We got to really cool this down. Don't skip any steps when you are putting in flooring in your home. You want that floor to last for as long as possible, and Empire gives you quality products, quality people to put that floor into your home, and it's a quality selection as well, and they service their own warranties. If an issue does arise, just call Empire. They service all warranties themselves. You won't have to track down a manufacturer's phone number. So schedule a free Schedule a free in-home estimate today. All listeners can receive a $350 off discount when they use promo code CHGO. Restrictions apply. See empiretoday.com/CHGO for details. Again, use code CHGO to receive a $350 off discount when you sign up for a free in-home estimate and end up using Empire to put a floor in your home. Herb, what's up?
I started eating Hero Bread because of my type 2 diabetes. Didn't want to give up my favorite few foods like sandwiches, quesadillas, burritos. And Hero Bread has been great for me, and I'm sure it will be great for you when you try it. If you need a low-carb option to fit your lifestyle or dietary constraints, the founder of Hero Bread, Cole Glass, baked 100 muffins per day before he found the perfect blend that fit his allergy constraints. And that's what pushed him to start Hero Bread.
100 muffins a day?
A day.
Cole Glass?
Cole Glass is that dude, man.
Wow.
He wanted to make sure the stuff was right.
Dog in him.
You know, he was like, I ain't messing around. I'm trial and error. We're going to do it.
Do you know the Muffin Man?
And he did it very well because of
I do.
the taste of the Hero Bread. And I know you're like, ugh, no, a zero net carb option? Absolutely not. Delicious. I hear you when you say that. But absolutely delicious, fluffy. I do the flour tortillas, which work out perfectly for me because I do some wraps, some quesadillas. The other day, I think we were talking about enchiladas, and Sarah says she makes some delicious enchilada sauce. Whatever you need, it's all there for you at Hero Bread with the flour tortillas. They have high fiber, 15 grams of fiber in the flour tortillas. I know that. There's only 80 calories and zero net carbs, as I said. Hero Bread makes sliced breads, buns, tortillas. They're all available at hero.co. and at Amazon. Right now, right damn now, Hero Bread is offering CHGO listeners 10% off their first order. Just go to hero.co and use code CHGO to save on Hero Bread today. That's HERO.co to save 10% off today.
I have an issue. I went to Baseball Reference because Cody Glass is baking 100 muffins. The last name Glass, I was like, any baseball players named Glass? I want to talk this out with you guys because I don't understand what this is.
Okay.
First person to appear with the name Glass in their name, 1879 to 1895, Jack Glasscock. Then Tom Glass from 1925 to 1925, a short career for Tom Glass, and then Carl Glass, a little bit lengthier, 1924 to 1930. So all of the Glasses are out by 1930. But then there is one player who made one at-bat whose name was just simply Glass.
He didn't have a first or last name, just the one.
Well, yeah, just like Prince.
Was his name Mr.?
I mean, it was a man.
It might have been Joe Glass. I'm not sure. Of the Newark Eagles, Glass had one at-bat and went 1 for 1.
What are the Newark Eagles? Is that a team?
I guess so. It's in the Negro National League.
Oh, that's why.
Okay.
So,
yeah. Joe Glass was like, I'm out. Or just Glass. I was like, hey, I'm out. I got my hit.
Hey, are they? Yeah, what are they?
Deuces.
16-inch softball team? Hey, we got a ringer, and his name is Glass.
Guys, I got my signal. I'm out. Thanks, though.
Easy.
Appreciate it. I mean, 1942, you don't know. He probably had to go to the war or something like that. You know, it was bad.
Well, that's why he was playing. You know, they needed a substitute. So
good point.
There you go.
All the good players came back. It's like, all right, Glass, get your ass out of here.
Didn't have enough time to figure out Glass's first name.
Get a last name or a first name or a middle name.
All right,
Did you actually look him up and see if he's the actual person? I'll look him up while you're doing the second segment.
I don't think he's probably an actual person, but I don't think we could find more information about Glass. They didn't have the internet in 1942. And again, they had more issues like the war that they had to focus on. Anyways, let's jump into Vinny's idea for today. And we can now be witty because we're out of the ad break.
Okay.
I thought when we typed up this headline, the first and snarky thing that everyone's going to comment is, who could be the White Sox version of Corey Seager and Marcus Semien? Oh, it could have been Corey Seager and Marcus Semien.
That will be the response. Yeah.
So to do that for you, there you go. I understand the humor that in 2021 the White Sox could have done this. Maybe not because Tim Anderson still existed, but they could have spent the money to have Corey Seager.
The rules allow it.
And or Marcus Semien on their team. So good job. You guys got an easy slam dunk. We are aware of the brevity of that. But let's look at the 2024-2025.
We were talking about moving forward. Yeah. We're talking about the future.
We can't go back.
Because the Rangers have gone and gotten themselves one win away from their first World Series on the backs mostly, certainly they have a good roster, but on the backs mostly of these two super highly paid free agents. If the White Sox are trying to win the World Series, which of course they are moving forward, could they follow a similar path? And if so, how?
Biggest regret of your life, go.
What?
Okay. 2024 free agent class leading off is Shohei Ohtani. Second, Yoshinobu Yamamoto.
My guy.
Blake Snell, Cody Bellinger, Aaron Nola, Josh Hader, Sonny Gray, Jordan Montgomery, JD Martinez, and Matt Chapman. These are the top 10. These are the guys that I thought, someone might vouch for. If you have anyone else you want to vouch for, feel free to go off the board. Oh. And then 2025, Garrett Cole, Corbin Burns, Zach Wheeler, Paul Goldschmidt, Pete Alonso, Jose Altuve, Alex Bregman, Juan Soto, Cody Bellinger again, and Anthony Santander. So, obviously Bellinger has the possibility of being taken off there, but he was a free agent 2025, and I don't know what his market looks like. So, looking at least 2024,
yep.
If you're going to do this, if you're going to say who could be your Corey Seager or Marcus Semien, again, we're not considering Shohei Ohtani at all.
Correct.
Again,
the White Sox aren't.
I know, and no. We got very good confirmation that
good source on this one.
Yeah, right. Yeah. The guy that has the money is not going to spend the money, and he said, "I'm not spending the money." So 2019 teams will be vying for Shohei Ohtani's service this year, except for the White Sox. But is that a mistake?
Yes. I understand what he's saying, and because Shohei is going to make an astronomical amount of money, and he's not in that market. But this is the player that everybody should be interested in because of his being the best player in baseballness. That should be everybody's like, yeah, I'm in.
Good noun.
Yeah.
Being the best player in baseballness.
Yeah. That should be, even if you want to just throw your number that you're comfortable with to Shohei Ohtani, you should do that. Maybe he likes Chicago. Maybe he came here one day and he's like, I like the hitting atmosphere. We had a lot of good fun against the White Sox pitchers, and if they would offer me a contract, kind of like what Bryce Harper said, he never thought about the White Sox until they brought him in and said, oh, I see. Okay, I got it. But they never really offered him a contract. You don't know what a person's going to say until you ask the question. You don't ask, you don't get. So, yes, I think they should be asking Shohei Ohtani, even if it's a lowball number. Hey, Shohei, we got $300 million for the next 10 years. You good? No? All right, we're out. They should be at least saying that. To mark him off as if that's too expensive, then you shouldn't be in baseball anymore.
Wouldn't it be cool to meet with Shohei Ohtani? I mean, I know Jerry Reinsdorf knows a lot of people, has met a lot of cool people, but he gets to, you have to pay for Shohei Ohtani's dinner, but I mean, hey, that's a pretty cool experience. You get to chat it up with Shohei. Whoever hit the thumbs down button, I'm going to find you. Hit the thumbs up button, fix your mistake. What's going on? Get us to 10 likes. We'd appreciate it. I think that, especially with the injury, that makes him even more attractive to sign. Like, if you are the White Sox and you aren't the Yankees and you haven't been historical spenders, this guy is now discounted. That's a perfect time for you to jump in, at least my thoughts. Or, hey, maybe make him an irrefutable offer for 2024. Hey, no one's going to be able to see you as a pitcher for this year, so why not just get paid the most amount of money as possible for this year to be our hitter, to be our right fielder? That sounds good for me. I guess he can't be right field because of the... Who cares?
It's that 40, 50 million?
It's close to 50.
If they pay Shohei Ohtani $75 million, I don't care. It's not my money.
I don't care either. But
to get him on the south side, you do whatever.
That's kind of an overpayment. But yes, I understand. You need $75 million for 1 year is an overpayment.
His OPS was 188.
It's great.
All he's going to do is be a hitter.
Well, and
he's
also
going to have like a 200 OPS plus and hit 60 homers.
Sean is clearly living in a world where $100 million for 1 year wouldn't bother him. Like I'm just saying, like you're talking as if money was no object to anybody, right?
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. The White Sox actually do need to overpay him, but that's least $20 million overpaid.
He's not
for
getting,
Shohei Ohtani.
He's not getting $75 million for 1 year. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Sure. If they sign him to that, would I be pushing up my glass and be like, oh, well, the market says that 8.8 or 8 million is worth 8 WAR, so technically Shohei Ohtani's contract should be 46.5. No. They signed Shohei Ohtani. I'm throwing a fucking party.
You know what?
I'm spending as much money as possible, just like the contract.
You know, the beautiful thing about that, if they do sign for $75 million, just put their number out there. They're still under the cap. The competitive balance tax.
And I don't even know why I'm talking about this because the guy said, hey, we're not signing him. So
but to answer your question, I would sign Cody Bellinger. He's 28. You saw him the year he just came off with the Cubs. Yes, we already have a center fielder, but you can play him in right field, and I think he'll be just fine out there. And then you can go and get Jordan Montgomery. I would actually be hesitant on him because of all the innings he's pitched this year, because of the extra postseason stuff, but his stuff has been looking good. Or if we can't get him, I would downshift and go to the disappointing. Remember?
Oh, Herb's going to trash Sonny Gray again.
I don't understand why you.
This is a running bit where Herb thinks Sonny Gray's awful.
Yeah, I don't
down Sonny Gray.
Oh my god!
So you guys always got me on that.
If they got Sonny Gray, he'd be the best pitcher on the team.
Well, and to be fair, to line this up, yeah, I mean Sonny Gray is better than Jordan Montgomery, anyways. I don't know. You are living in so much recency bias. It's not even.
But
funny.
here's the point. Here's the point of the question. Right? Is Corey Seager and Marcus Semien.
Yeah.
These two guys are MVP candidates every year. I don't think Jordan Montgomery counts as being your Corey Seager. You know what I mean? I'm not sure Cody Bellinger counts as being either of those two guys. Now, he's won an MVP before, sure, but at this point in his career, is he that? I mean, I think the idea behind the question, behind the topic is if the White Sox were to go out and say, we're going to go sign two guys who are going to be the best players on our team, the two best players on our team for the next 10 years. I don't know how many people on those two lists even come close to that category. I made my list. I would say there's 4 guys for sure. Ohtani this year, and then next year Soto, and then maybe Pete Alonso, and maybe Alex Bregman. And then this year you could throw in Matt Chapman if you're high on Matt Chapman. Mm-hmm. But I guess that's my point, is that you're talking about Ohtani and Soto, because these two guys are going to finish in the top 3 or 5 in the American League MVP voting. How many other guys on that list are going to do that? How many guys on that list are going to do that on a regular basis, right? And so I think the answer to the question is that the White Sox think they already have those guys. Certainly in Luis Robert Jr., it was supposed to be some of the other ones that hasn't worked out that way yet. I mean, that's why we're talking about how they were going to build. That's how they were built the last time, was by them thinking they already had 2 guys that were going to be MVP, or plus guys that were going to be MVP candidates on a regular basis. But right now, it's impressive what the Rangers did. At the time, it looked like, oh boy, the Rangers are just throwing more money at people like they always do, kind of thing. But what has become most impressive about it is that they said, all right, we're picking our 2 guys that we're going to build this team around. We do not care how much they cost, and they're going to be on the team for the next 10 years. And right now, it's got them on the brink of the World Series. I would say that it has been worth it to this point.
Also, too, no, you're fine. I was just touching you because I was gonna direct a question to you, or at least direct a point. Alex says it's still not even the biggest contract in Sox history. If they sign, I mean, they still don't even go over $100 million if they sign Ohtani to $75 million 1 year.
That's how we know education.
That's true. So AJ mentioned sign Bellinger and put him at first base and trade Vaughn for a starter or right fielder. If you're signing Bellinger, I think the worst thing to do is sign him and put him at first base, because you're immediately just taking down his value by putting him at what is seen as a tougher position, or an easier position and a less defensive important position. Cody Bellinger was in the 80th percentile in fielding. He was in the 80th percentile base running, and he was in the 80th percentile of hitting this year. I think he absolutely is in that landscape.
Yes.
I think that he is similar to Semien and Seager, because I think Soto and Ohtani too are kind of in an even upper echelon above Seager and Semien. I mean, Seager's playing outstanding baseball right now. There probably isn't a hotter baseball player in the world right now, but I would say that Bellinger at least deserves recognition, because if they sign him to over a $100 million contract, I'm not going to be upset.
Oh, God.
If he's our right fielder next to Luis Robert Jr., he's a lot better than Michael Conforto, who was I wanted them to sign last year.
Man, a lot of things get healed up really quickly if they sign Cody Bellinger. Like, a lot of people are like, hey, Jerry, we're here, man. Finally, thank you. Cody Bellinger is that dude. And he's 28 years old. Young still. I know he had the bad years with the Dodgers and after the World Series, and I think he injured his shoulder. But you get that guy, you're set for a good portion of the next 5 years. And he can play right field with the greatest of ease. And now finally our right field thing is done. We can be comfortable. And then, Sonny Gray can be our John Gray. Like they signed John Gray that year.
You are being so disrespectful to Sonny Gray.
Why am I disrespectful? John Gray is fine.
It's
good.
How many times has Jordan Montgomery finished in the top 10 of the Cy Young? Zero. How many times is Sonny Gray?
Like 3 times?
Twice, and it's going to be a third time this year. I don't understand the disrespect. He's
33 years old, isn't he?
Yeah, he's very good. He's the past 2 years, the 32-year-old and 33-year-old Sonny Gray has had a 2.90 ERA in over 300 innings.
But I'm not paying for what he did. I'm paying for what he's going to do.
And he's going to be a lot better than Jordan Montgomery. Let's take a break, and we'll let you know about our great advertisers, and then Herb and I will fight more. I want to let you know about our friends over at Soul Savvy. The Drops app by Soul Savvy makes it easy to keep up with all the latest news, releases, raffles, and sales in the sneaker world. It is your one-stop shop for everything sneakers. They have drop alert instant notifications, so you'll never miss out on a release again. You'll get instantly notified when your size is available to buy, so then you can go right to the app, get directed to the link and purchase your sneakers. Free raffle management, so you can keep track of all the raffles that happen in the sneaker world with their raffle tracker and their release calendar. Their accurate release calendar will keep you updated on releases that are upcoming. Whether you're a casual buyer or an all-out sneakerhead, Soul Savvy has something for you with 3 different levels: the basic version, mobile plus version, or the premium version. And this Saturday, November 4th, the Air Jordan 1 Reimagine Royal drops. The Drops by Soul Savvy app will notify you when and where it's dropping. So download the app and never miss a release. Don't miss that on November 4th if you are a sneakerhead. I'm a big fan of blue. And
the color,
yeah. It's a nice, lovely royal blue. So you get to.
Well, that's why it's called that, not because he's his airness.
Well, I mean, maybe it's a play.
Okay.
I mean, I'm not sure.
Gotcha.
I just know it's coming out November 4th.
There you go.
But sign up for Soul Savvy by clicking the links in the description below, or visit links.soulsavvy.com/CHGO, or head over to the App Store and download Drops by Soul Savvy app. Also want to let you know about our friends over at Circa. Circa Sportsbook is the place for any serious bettor to place your wagers. Games on Circa will strive to be a -110 split on the Circa menu, unlike other sportsbook, which may use a -115 or -120 split. Those tight money line splits, that low hold model is the best for you, the gambler. If you are placing a bet on the same prop, let's say a team to cover 3.5, and it's -110 on Circa and it's -120 on a different one, save myself there. You are just giving more money to that other app at -120, and that's less winnings for yourself. So Circa wants you to shop around, find the best line, and likely you're going to find the best line on the world's largest sportsbook, Circa Sportsbook. And the best thing too, Circa's customer service is run by real people behind the brand. They resolve issues in a timely fashion, unlike other books who use chat box. And all other aspects of the bet of the app are being run by the same team that runs the Circa Sportsbook at Circa Resort and Casino in Las Vegas. So download the Circa Sports Illinois app at circasports.com/Illinois-app, at circasports.com/Illinois-app to sign up today. Also be on the lookout for Circa events, watch parties, and tailgates. They have an location up at the Temporary in Waukegan that you can go and visit as well if you want to bet under 29.5 in northwestern Iowa at Wrigley Field. And if you or somebody you know may have a problem with gambling, call 1-800-GAMBLER, 1-800-426-2537, text GMB 833-234, or visit areyourreallywinning.com.
Just an aside, Circa and DNVR are doing like an event in, I believe it's January, the weekend of January 5th through the 8th, where they're having the Broncos going to be playing the Raiders out there. And so go to DNVR, too, and they're going to have an event, and you can meet up with the people, having a nice road trip out there. I was thinking about doing it myself because I haven't been to Circa yet.
You should.
I'm looking forward to it. Yeah,
I thought you meant they were doing it with DNVR and Circa, as in like they were going to be in Denver. It makes a lot more sense because the Raiders play in Vegas.
Yeah,
that's where
Circa
is.
Yeah, they're going to have a nice road trip out there. So if you ever wanted to go to Circa Sports and wanted to do it, it's a great deal. Awesome deal for DNVR. And I wish eventually we will do it, but the Bears don't play in Vegas until like 5 more years because they just played there like last year.
What's the opposite of haunts my nightmares?
Lives in my dreams.
Lives in my dreams. Yeah, the Circa room lives in my dreams, where I got to overlook Stadium Swim. It was the coolest place ever. Just sitting in those chairs and just like with a dead glaze, watching like 8 baseball games at the same time. I mean, I was in heaven. Air conditioned. Oh, it's insane.
Did you go swimming? Hell no. Or did you just stay in the cabanas?
How pale I am.
You could swim.
I didn't go outside. No, I didn't go outside. I would have burned.
That's another good for Circa. You don't need to go outside to have fun.
Oh, you do not. I did not leave that resort, and I didn't need to. Vinny.
Yes.
Why don't you let people know about the Die Hard program?
I think I will. Folks, if you're watching, that we have live shows 5 days a week covering the White Sox. If you're listening, that we have podcasts 5 days a week covering the White Sox. You probably know that 5 days a week also live shows and podcasts covering all the other teams here in the city. The Bulls, the Blackhawks, the Bears, the Cubs, if you're one of those baseball double dippers. But did you know that you could join the CHGO Die Hard program, and you'll get all sorts of great stuff to go along with that. There will be premium written content over at allchgo.com for you. You get your pick of t-shirts. When you sign up, you'll get a free t-shirt with anyone you want, and then discounted t-shirts after that for, if you're a Die Hard member. There's also the members-only Discord, the CHGO Lounge. You can go hang out there as well. And then, of course, you get 20% off all of our wonderful CHGO events. That includes our next tailgate ahead of the Bears-Panthers game November 9th. That's the best tailgate in the city, and Die Hard members get a 20% off discount to that. Also, though, we got Bulls takeover coming up. We got Blackhawks stuff coming up because it's supposed to get real cold here, and so you know what that means. It's time for basketball and hockey, so be on the lookout for that as well. It all comes to you in a very nice little box that is living over in Studio A. Tune in tomorrow. We'll show it to you then. But you get a sticker, you get a t-shirt, you get all that stuff. So go ahead and head on over to allchgo.com and figure out exactly what it takes to get you on board and become part of what we're doing here at CHGO.
Absolutely. And what we're doing here on the White Sox program, if you are just tuning in live for some reason, or you're still watching, this is the end of the ad break. Let's go back to the
how exciting
free agent list. And I guess maybe we'll set this up a little bit different, Herb, because if it is two guys, I want you to get the Sox Seager and Semien from the 2024 and 2025 list. You have to pick between these 2 years. You're the two guys you want on the 2024 and 2025 list. Sarah, feel free to pop that up. Which two are you picking? You think Montgomery and Bellinger are the best out of the entire group?
I think no. Shohei Ohtani, but we're throwing that away.
No. The best for the White Sox. Obviously, Ohtani's not being signed by the White Sox, and we know that.
I mean, there's not a lot of good hitters that are of the ilk that you were talking about. But yes, Cody Bellinger would be my number one target this offseason. JD Martinez is not of that ilk, but all he does is hit every single time he goes anywhere. Detroit, Arizona, Boston, Los Angeles, and he'll hit here. But the 2025, as Vinny stated, Juan Soto is kind of like Ted Williams. He walks a bunch. He hits for power. He can field-ish. But I would sell out for Juan Soto next year. And people are talking about trying to gain and get Juan Soto for, and I heard our Cub people trying to get him for like fucking Christopher Morel and some minor leaguers. Calm down. It's Juan Soto. He will be 26 when he's done on this contract. You have to offer much more for 1 year of Juan Soto. They're like, oh, Chris Morel will get it done. Calm down. The White Sox don't have the money to get him this year, but if he's a free agent next year, I would do whatever it needs to be done to get him on the White Sox because he's exactly the opposite of everything that the White Sox don't have. Lefty, power, he has patience at the plate, understands the strike zone, and a pimp-ass walk or a ball strut.
A ball take?
Yeah. Oh, God, so bad. Yeah. I love him.
I think, listen, I think pitchers can be guys who have this sort of effect on a team. There's no doubt about it. All you got to do is look to the north side of town and what John Lester meant to the Cubs when he came aboard as a free agent. But if you are looking to truly replicate exactly what the Rangers just did, not saying the White Sox should, but if you want to, right, then you got to go out and get yourself the guys who are going to be the forces in that lineup, right? I think the White Sox are in a fortunate position in that they already have one of those guys in Luis Robert Jr., but To answer your question, Sean, I think the answer lies not in 2024 because I only see one guy who fits that description right there, and that's Shohei Ohtani, in my opinion, in 2024. So I think you go to 2025, I think the answer would be Soto and Bregman. You look at the White Sox roster, I don't think Andrew Vaughn's going anywhere. I think Pete Alonso would be a great addition to that lineup. It'd be a great addition to 30 lineups, to be quite honest with you. But, if you're looking at the impact that you want these guys to make, Corey Seager was one of the best players in baseball this year. Juan Soto is one of the best players in baseball every year. Alex Bregman comes with the bonus of knowing how to win, playing a really slick third base defensively as well. Perhaps that is the time that the White Sox are able to move on from Yohan Moncada in some fashion. I think the answer is Soto and Bregman right there because I am going position players only to answer this question to make that parallel as perfect as possible.
You're not going to pick up the club option and $25 million for Yohan Moncada?
Well, not if he hits like he did last year. No.
I was going to use catatonic, but that's a negative space. I guess I would be vivacious if the White Sox signed
You'd be full of life?
I would be so full of life if the White Sox signed Alex Bregman and Juan Soto. If they signed one of them, I would be in that state. I thought catatonic because I don't think I'd be able to process it. I don't think I'd be able to.
Actually might work better than vivacious in that because you're just so shocked into silence.
Well, but catatonic seems a little bit more intense. It's an abnormality of movement and behavior arising from a disturbed mental state, typically schizophrenia. So that seems just kind of, maybe I don't know if...
It's a little dark.
It's a little dark.
Hey, maybe too dark. You can't believe life is like this, that the White Sox are actually getting a big-time thing. You're like, there must be something wrong. And your body and your brain's like, oh, fuck.
I'd shut down.
What's going on?
No, I absolutely shut down. Luke saying Snell and Santander would be his two. I wouldn't be mad at that. AJ saying pie in the sky, Cole and Soto. Yes. That's pretty good. Alex throwing in that Soto and Robert would be a powerful 3 and 4.
Yeah, you don't say.
Good protection for Luis Robert Jr. You don't want to walk Robert Jr. because Soto's up next. Or maybe that's a different question. Who would bat first?
Soto.
How would you
lead off?
Yeah, but who would be before? Would you have Robert 3, Soto 4? Would you have Soto 2?
Put Soto 2, Robert 3. I
yes.
think. Yeah.
Soto 1, Robert 2.
Maybe. Why not? That's what the Angels did, right? With Ohtani and Trout, 1-2. I mean, it's certainly what the Rangers do with I guess
Seager and Semien.
Seager and Semien. Are they 1-2 or are they 2-3?
Yeah, Semien's 1. Yeah, it's like Semien, Seager, Garcia.
That's what Phillies do with Kyle Schwarber.
Yeah.
I mean,
get on base.
Get on base. And what I mean, you said Ted Williams, this 25 or 24-year-old in his 6 years gets on base at a 421 clip.
Pretty good.
That's pretty good.
Pretty good.
I think that's Frank Thomas' on-base percentage for his career. It just that is elite. Please, Jesus. If the White Sox ever had anything, what was his?
419.
See? So better than Frank Thomas.
Yikes! Yeah, I mean, I'm not upset if they sign Juan Soto. I'm not upset if they sign Shohei Ohtani.
Hot takes.
Jerry Reinsdorf also said he wouldn't sign a pitcher to 10 years. The only guy that ever got close to that was Garrett Cole, and he's been fantastic with that Yankees contract.
And awesome.
If he opts out, he's getting a ton of money that Jerry Reinsdorf isn't paying him.
He's winning a Cy Young this year, right?
Yeah, he absolutely is, 100%. So I mean, I think that those options are great, but again, it's pie in the sky. If you want to go back to the list, Sarah, I think that maybe obtainable would be Aaron Nola. I think you look at the 2025 list, there's a ton of pitching. Cole, Burns, Wheeler. I think Walker Buehler is on that list.
Glasnow, I think.
Glasnow, yeah, absolutely. I think now is the season. Max Fried.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. This is the year to spend on pitching, I feel like. I don't know if
next winter, not this winter.
For the White Sox, I think now is the time.
But there's more good pitchers available next year.
Exactly. So more people are going to be spending on pitchers. I think that there's going to be more.
Well, won't there be a smaller market for it this year? You've only got a certain number of chances to go get your guy.
That's fair, but I do think other teams might be saving up for 2025. I think it will be a little bit more of a slower market this year. I think it will be more of an aggressive market in 2025. That would be my prediction. I could be wrong on that, absolutely. But I would go with Nola out of that group. I think that he's just been so so dominant. He gives you at least 180 innings every single year. The one thing with Blake Snell, too, I think in the AL Central, the worst thing that you would want to do is like walk 5 guys per 9 innings. And he's a guy that doesn't keep people on base, or like he allows a ton of steals. I think his caught stealing rate was 4%. So I don't really know if Snell's the right fit for the White Sox. So I'd go Aaron Nola out of those pitchers for 2024.
Not Sonny Gray, not your guy Sonny Gray that you keep on trying to sell me on.
He's a little bit older, so I wouldn't give it to him.
See, now you're there.
You're picking Jordan Montgomery over him.
Coming.
I'm not saying Jordan Montgomery.
Jordan Montgomery's gonna be cheaper, I believe, and he's
he's worse.
Exactly, and he's a left-handed starter too.
Go sign Eduardo Rodriguez. I mean, get out of here.
You're
lefty.
Yeah, exactly. You poo-pooing Eduardo Rodriguez. I'll take Eduardo Rodriguez on this White Sox 2024 rotation.
Jared's asking, how do I think supply and demand works? I don't. I host a podcast. If I knew how supply and demand worked, I'd be Mark Cuban or something. I'd be running a business.
You think all it takes to be Mark Cuban is to know how supply and demand works?
He definitely knows how it works.
I think
I'm taking a guess, or at least Bezos, the money makers, they at least know supply and demand.
And I know what Jared's saying, because you're thinking that this year you have fewer options, that this is the year that you strike. And I get what you're saying. You'll be thinking that there's less people who are thinking that these guys are actually worth the contracts they're worth. And then next year, there'll be all the high teams in there, the Yankees, Astros, Dodgers next year. So this is the year where those teams are not in the bidding wars, so you can get your player for a cheaper price. I think the opposite, but I hear what you're saying too.
I don't even know if it's about cheaper price. I just think that there'll be less teams. So it's, if there's 9 teams on Garrett Cole or 9 teams or whatever on Wheeler, I don't know. Are the White Sox just going to be in a thinner group if they're... I could be absolutely wrong about this. I don't know. I mean, I would just go Nola regardless, 2024 or 2025. I think Nola's a great pick here. What?
I'm just laughing at Jerry. No. New setup's tearing you guys apart.
Tearing me apart, Lisa. Yeah, I go Nola, and I would go, I guess.
Pull it.
I would say Bellinger and Nola. Ohtani would be my pick, but obviously, Jerry Reinsdorf said they're not doing that. So I think Bellinger would be an incredible ad. I think that right field and center field would be deadly with one another. And then I think Nola, at least with him and Cease, would be a great one too. And then hopefully Brian Bannister and Eric, I was going to say Eric Kratz, Ethan Katz. There you go. Can develop the 3, 4, and 5 starters for the Sox.
Interesting though when you look at those lists too, because we're talking about Seager and Semien, right? In signed in the same offseason. When you look at those lists, pretty impressive how some past free agent classes looked, right?
Oh yeah.
I mean, you look at that one for this upcoming year. It is not terribly impressive, and to think that the same team got those 2 guys in the same winter when so many other players were also available. I mean, that was the winter of shortstops, right? That was then, or one of them, and to think that they got both those guys, it just goes to show you that in some years that opportunity doesn't even exist, and I would argue that it doesn't from a position player standpoint, certainly this upcoming winter. So
I mean, last year's shortstops, I mean, those 4 went off the board. That was a star-studded one. If the White Sox would have got one of those guys, even though they didn't have an open position, you moved him to second, I would have been happy with, overjoyed with. There's no one of that caliber, I don't believe, especially middle infielders in this 2024 class, where you're like, I'm getting a young, good shortstop, and there's nothing of that. And the White Sox actually need a middle infielder.
Players in that class with over 5 WAR: Freddie Freeman 7.8, Brandon Belt 5.2, Marcus Semien 7.8. I would count Chris Bryant just because he got a ton of money. He was a 4 WAR player. Correa, Story, Seager, and that is it. Oh, Starling Marte was also a part of that, and then Castellanos was 4.5. So I mean, there was a ton in that 2021. I don't know how many of these guys are exactly over 5 WAR, but it doesn't seem like a lot. So.
I don't,
should have been more aggressive.
I don't know how many folks saw it. I think it was yesterday in The Athletic. Jim Bowden, the former GM, made his list of the top 40 free agents. He had Jordan Montgomery third, and he had the pitcher from Japan second, which means that he had Jordan Montgomery as the second best free agent in a major league free agent in this class this year.
You say Jim Bowden or Herb?
Well, I'm just kind of saying is like Jordan Montgomery, good year. Congratulations for being so good in the playoffs. You've earned your next contract, no doubt about it. But come on. But we're going into a winter where the second best free agent, major league free agent, is Jordan Montgomery.
Yeah.
Outside,
but I did say that Jordan Montgomery playing in the postseason would give me pause because that's a lot more innings than a regular guy like Sonny Gray, who didn't get pitched that much in the postseason because the Minnesota Twins are the Minnesota Twins.
By WAR, who is the most valuable? Who is the third most valuable free agent? This winter, who is the third most valuable infielder by WAR?
Infielder,
free agent
in the
who
free
are
agent
the first
class.
two?
Matt Chapman.
Yep.
And Max Muncy.
Then
it's a club option for Muncy, so he's likely not even going to go.
If you're counting Cody Bellinger, I'll say Cody Bellinger.
He's not. I'm not. He's
Okay,
under
he's
outfielder. So who is the second
Career?
most? No,
Just
from
past
2023.
Jesus, this is going to be bad.
Oh, you don't even know.
There's no way it's Elvis Andrus.
It's Elvis Andrus.
Oh,
Wow.
fuck off. With a 2?
Wow.
4.6.
4 point. What, this year?
I don't know.
He didn't have a 4.6.
I don't know.
This is from MLB.com.
No.
The same thing that I did in 2021,
Nope.
where I went through the position by position. The WAR number that they put there is just what I was going off of. They say that most valuable player is Elvis Andrus. Most valuable catcher is Gary Sanchez at 3, Rhys Hoskins at 2.3 / Josh Bell at 2.4, Elvis Andrus 4.6, Ahmed Rosario 2.9, Matt Chapman 7.6, Muncy 5.3, Justin Turner 3.6.
Defense heavy. Very defense heavy.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, maybe they're creating their own WAR. I don't know.
It's broken. Whatever
sharing.
that machine is, the MLB is wrong.
ML WAR.
Yeah.
What is it good for? Absolutely.
Because if he was a 4-win player, the White Sox would be much better than 61 and 101 because he played a lot of games. I know he did well in the second half, but he didn't play that well. He didn't.
What are you saying? I mean, like
He's not a 4-6 WAR. That's what I'm saying. I
the
know
White
what
Sox
a 4-6
won
WAR.
60 games. Everyone else sucked.
Yeah, they
Elvis
had
Andrus was fine. Elvis Andrus' 5 WAR season
Stop
can't
it.
save the White Sox.
Elvis Andrus wasn't that good either.
Guarantee
No, I
he wasn't a 5-WAR player.
But I mean, also Elvis Andrus wasn't like if Elvis Andrus was a 7 WAR player, the White Sox aren't winning 80
B-WAR
games.
has him at 0.6.
Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe it's a typo.
It has to be.
That's true.
Maybe it's
it
an
is-
average of his whole career.
It's 4.6.
What's his career
His
WAR?
162 average is 2.7. So I don't know.
What's his career WAR?
34.
Oh, that's much higher than 4.
Fangraphs has his WAR as it loads at 1.1.
Yeah.
He's 4.6 over the last 2 years.
You can't
if
even add
helps.
that up to 4.6.
2022, 2022 3.5, 2023 1.1. So maybe that's it.
Yeah.
I don't know. Okay, well that was funny. That's at least if you read the MLB website, if you only go off the MLB website, he is the second most valuable infielder.
He's going to get a good deal.
I hope Chris Guest does not read the MLB website.
I think that Elvis Andrus should grow a mustache. It is Movember. Herb suggested this, that we talk about a mustachioed player each and every day. Elvis Andrus is not, but we do have one with White Sox ties. Herb, who is our man?
Jose Valentin, and you're a White Sox fan of the early 2000s. You remember this guy because he was clutch as hell. He was kind of a butcher at shortstop, but also a guy that would run into a home run every once in a while, and the home runs would be huge. I think he had a grand slam off the Cubs, then did the Sammy Sosa thing to the camera. It was so great. It was so beautiful. His mustache will be living forever because it was just so well coiffed, kind of Tom Selleck-like, Mr. Baseball, if you will.
It looked like a grease.
Very sexy mustache.
Just
There it is.
just a perfect thing. Like he was mostly bat, little glove. He was a switch hitter, and then he quit being a right-handed hitter because it was so terrible. But Jose Valentin was my guy. And
Played a little outfield too,
Oh
didn't
yeah,
he?
yeah. There was very little, and as AJ points out, one of 6 people who has done the cycle in White Sox history. I think he did a year after Chris Singleton did his. Do you know the other?
I know,
4?
I know
Jose
Jose
Abreu.
Abreu, Singleton, Valentin, Albert Bell do it?
Albert Bell did not do
I
it.
don't know. I'm not going to start naming this.
But yes,
Frank didn't do it.
He did not. He's not fast enough.
How recent are these players?
Like I think Carlton Fisk did too. Yes, Ray Schalk, Jack Brohammer,
It's always Ray Schalk.
Carlton Fisk, Chris Singleton, Jose Valentin, Jose Abreu, the last one to do it.
Weird ass list.
Were you at that game?
The Abreu cycle game? No.
That was 2014.
2017.
Okay. If you want to go back to the graphic there, Sarah, though, just shout out to Jose Valentin, second baseman. And if
shortstop sometime,
if he was playing second base, I would be drooling.
Oh my God.
Right now. His career WAR over 162 games, 3.1. That's a lot more than Elvis Andrus's. So I would kill for a Jose Valentin. Was really killer with the White Sox. His 5 years with the Sox, the career numbers are good. Long career, 16 years. But his 5 years with the Sox were his best. 672 games, 247/319 on base, 483 slug, 104 OPS plus, 16.9 WAR.
For a guy who spent 8 seasons with the Brew Crew, not really remembered as an all-time Brewer, is he?
Not at all.
That's a long tenure.
Yeah.
I think they're bad. They're
probably
just like
but
horrendous.
still.
Oh, they were bad, but
Still,
yeah.
but like,
8
You'd
years
think he
is
would be
long
a
time.
celebrated Brewer.
Especially how good he was as a White Sox. Like, fans adored him at the time.
Is there maybe he's the Jose Rodriguez? Like maybe he's Popeye? Like maybe the White Sox will let, Popeye go in like 8 years from now and he'll become a 30-year-old stud with a mustache?
Or like...
But he has to play some games.
He has.
I think he's like Eduardo Escobar.
Jose Valentin played 4 games in his 1992.
He was really nothing with the White Sox, and then when he went to the Twins, the Diamondbacks, etc., became Eduardo Escobar.
I don't know about Eduardo Escobar, but I do know that there was a certain substance going around in the 90s. So I'm not saying that Jose Valentin maybe took some supplements, but I mean, you could
just flat out accusing somebody of.
I mean,
something.
you can grow your mustache without steroids.
It wasn't this. I'm saying maybe he got a lot better at baseball. I don't think it was the mustache.
The mustache made him better.
You know what's tragic, though? I was looking for photos for Jose Valentin. He was the third base coach for the Puerto Rico World Baseball Classic team in 2017. In 2017.
Gotcha.
And his first base coach for a long time for the Padre.
Mustache is gone.
Yeah.
That is a shame.
I think the Mets made him shave his mustache.
If an employer of yours said you have to shave your mustache, would you?
I don't know.
No.
I have had an employer of mine told me I had to cut my hair when it was long.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Who cares?
Huh?
Who cares?
It was for reasons. It was to be presentable on camera is what it was.
Yes.
Yeah.
You are presentable on camera.
Well, now, yeah. You didn't see that long hair, Sarah. You might be singing a different tune.
If it is allowed in the Duber household, I would love to see Vinny with long hair again.
I had it for a whole year.
I would love for you to bring it back.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't
and
think
Lawrence
there's
has
a
to grow
reason
his
not.
hair back.
Sure.
Alex says that.
How long was his?
His was like
remember
my length.
Remember
like
the
long.
when he first started, it was like Aaron Rodgers. He had that long hair.
He had like my length.
Yeah.
Like it was long.
That's true.
And Alex says that Vinny grew his stash the right way, steroid free.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Correct.
That is very true.
The steroid-free Vinnie Duber. You could read his writing that needs no enhancements over at allchgo.com. You could read him at Vinnie Duber. That's Herb Lawrence. You can follow him at Ecknerwall23. He's our CHGO White Sox community leader. And I'm Sean Anderson. You can follow me at Sean_W_Anderson. I agree with Luke, and we'll send you out on this note. Chris Widger needs to be the Sox new first base coach, because why not? Let's go.
Wasn't everybody's complaint about Darryl Boston is that they just kept him around because he was a former White Sox? Why would the suggestion to replace him just be another former White Sox?
Because he has a ring.
Okay.
Darryl does too.
I don't know. I'm just trying to figure it out. Goodbye.
We all silly like the mayor.